So good afternoon, friends. So it's a pleasure to introduce you Mr. Arunraj, an IAS officer of 2015 batch. He is from Tirunelveli district, All India 34th rank in his very first attempt. And in fact, many could have seen, because he is part and parcel of our academy. Already you would have seen about how one video we made together, how the life in Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration is, how the training is. In fact, we would have discussed even about what food they have, what time they have to get up. So all those things, whoever has not seen, so wonderful video you can see in our Officers Academy YouTube channel. Now then, last week when I was discussing with him, so later, what happens after one comes out of academy? Because Arunraj is one who is one of the most popular officer as a sub-collector at that point of time. Many sub-collectors were there. He was the one who was known across Tamil Nadu because of multiple things. Whatever area he tried to change something continuously. He was a newspaper. So memes were created in his favor. So I thought, why can't he can share certain things with you so that how the life of a sub-collector is. So once you come out of Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy, what are the political issues? Still, despite that, how one can make a difference. Because end of the day, getting into IAS and finally if you don't make any difference and you take it as just one more job, then doesn't make any difference. So that way he is one outstanding officer of Tamil Nadu cadre, and again after this recently he has been posted as the Deputy Secretary Finance, which is again one of the coveted posts in Tamil Nadu. He is the DS Finance now. So please make use of this lecture. I think it will motivate you one thing, and that is not only one intention for us at Officers Academy. We should also make you a good officer. When you go those seeds, whatever we are sowing now, yes, one or two things what you can learn from him today will be, you can use it when you get into service. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arunraj.
Good afternoon, everyone. I actually started, I have been associated with Officers IAS Academy for a long time. In fact, this Officers IAS Academy started in an old building. I think some of you may have seen it. It was in a very small house-like structure nearby in Anna Nagar. So after that, from that time I have been associated with this academy, and I used to prepare there when I used to go for this Delhi interview, IAS interview, and after that also I used to come to the old building, second building in the nearby street for taking mock interviews for people who have cleared IAS exam. So I feel happy to be back in this place and meet a lot of young students and young aspirants who are going to write the exam soon, and many of you will be definitely clearing it. So I feel very happy to be back here and meet all of you. And in fact, this brings back my memories of student days when I also used to sit in the same place and listen to officers who used to come and give lectures. So I feel very happy to be here. So and also sir gave a lot of hype, but I hope to live up to that during the course of my presentation. But we will. The topic of our presentation is life of a sub-collector. As sir told, what is the general duties and how is the general lifestyle. As soon as after you have done with the training, and then you come and join the district. So this is to motivate some of you and inspire some of you to help you clear this exam more, work harder, and secondly to also give you a small glimpse of how life will be after you clear the exam. So this is, I think some of you may have seen the video of how life is during the training in LBS. That is there in YouTube. In fact, that's a one-on-one interview with sir and me. And so that is about training in Mussoorie. And So, but this, what I'm going to say today is not covered in any video. Maybe it will come out as a video later, but so I hope it will be interesting. And in fact, this is the first day in office. The photo which I just displayed here on the presentation is my first day in office as I joined as a sub-collector when I initially took charge, which was 2 years back in the same month, October, and it was the date October 9th. So I just thought that I will begin my presentation with this photo. Otherwise, there is not much of a history behind this photo. It is widely available. So some of you may be wondering why I put this photo. So this is the first day, and during the course of my presentation, I will different things. What a sub-collector is supposed to do, what are the different duties, and what are the different issues you have to handle, what are the different challenges that you have to face, how will you deal with different people, public or the public or press persons who come to contact you, how you deal with different sections of society. So as a sub-collector, many different people will be coming and talking to you, from the poorest sections of society to even the richest people will be coming and talking to you, how the different politicians will interact with you. So I hope to cover basics of these different aspects in the life of a sub-collector during the course of my presentation. அது கொஞ்சம் கீழே போகணும், இவ்வளோ கீழே போகக்கூடாது, அந்த மேலே இருக்கிற ஃபோட்டோ தெரியணும். So this second pic, my entire presentation will be based on pictures. Okay, there will be no text or no lecture. It will be just based on pictures, and the pictures will tell a story by itself. So first I will start with the light things. So this event right here is the opening of a dam water. So generally if you look at the water structures in different area, it's a very interesting area, in fact, how the water is distributed among different canals and then it finally reaches the agricultural field. So the dams are the way by which you control the flow of water to different areas, and you can store the water for any future purpose. So generally for opening the water from any dam, you will generally the collector is called. So the person who's standing next to me is the collector, and so we generally open the dam gates, and so by this this is one part of the aspect of our job. So we have to ensure that so generally when we have to look at the management of dams, how much water is available during the summer season, or when the rains are coming, so how much water should be stored, and there is a capacity of the dam. So if there cannot be more water which can be stored in the dam, because there's a danger of the water overflowing or the dam structure getting damaged. So all these calculations have to be taken, and at an appropriate point of time you have to ensure that the public also get the water, and you also ensure that there is a proper amount of water stored for agricultural purpose and drinking water purpose. So it's always a give and take. So sometimes people may come, and farmers groups will come and talk to you and tell you that sir, எங்களுக்கு தண்ணி வந்து விவசாயத்துக்கு வேணும், நாங்கள் வந்து எங்களுக்கு சீக்கிரம் வேணும், கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, கொடுக்கலன்னா நாங்கள் போராட்டம் பண்ணிடுவோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் you have to make a give and take. You have to make a bargain. So you cannot just release the water because someone is coming and telling you to release the water. You have to ensure that some amount of water is stored for drinking purpose also. So this is one aspect which you have to look into, and it's an interesting aspect. So generally in paper, when you are preparing for the exam, you will be reading for general studies that there are a lot of farmer issues in the country, and there will be some general issues with agriculture and all that. So but when you actually work in the field, work in the district, you will be directly interacting with farmers, and you'll be directly interacting with the different stakeholders, so different public as well. So you have to ensure that the water reaches the appropriate person for the appropriate amount of time. So if for example in a particular, in this area for example, if some people are from Dindigul, are there any persons from Dindigul here? Just lift your hands. From that area, Madurai, Dindigul area. Okay. So okay, that area generally a lot of maize is sown. Maize and rice is sown, also sown in some places. So you may have read that rice is a very water intensive crop. Maize is not that much. You can control the flow of water so that it does not reach the more water intensive areas, and it can reach the lesser water intensive areas so that it can store more water for drinking purpose. This is I just told it in basic, but there are more complexities in the field. So, but this is one aspect. So, I'm just telling you how whatever you're studying will be of use in the field, will be of use in your life as a sub-collector. Okay. So, this is the second event here, in which, as you can see, it is written in the background that it is a special grievance camp conducted for differently abled people. Differently abled people, there was, we thought that there must be a special grievance mechanism for them, because when you normally hold a grievance redressal camp, many people will be coming and visiting you, and a lot of public will come and see you, but the needs of a differently able person is different, and they would want to have this pension. So Tamil Nadu government is giving a pension for differently able people. If some of you don't know, it is to the range of around 1,500 per month, and for getting that pension amount, they have to get some certificates and no objection certificate from different agencies, like the revenue. He has to get a NOC from the Tahsildar. He has to get an NOC from the doctor. A doctor has to certify him and say that okay, he is differently able. What is the amount of percentage of disability that he has? And so all this has to be done. So some more also has to be done. So if you have a separate single point source from where these people can come and get their benefits. Otherwise, what will happen is that someone will come and give the petition to, even if he gives the petition to the collector will just get the petition and then he will just forward it to the concerned person. He will forward to the Tahsildar. Then Tahsildar has to send that petition to the doctor. Doctor has to send a petition to the district differently abled officer. From the district differently abled officer, it has to come back to the collector. After it gets the NOC from all the persons. So by the time this is over, it will take around 6 to 7 months. So by that time, that person will be fed up, or will be fed up. That is one case. Secondly, there will be a lot of illegitimate cases also who will ask for such benefits. So if it's a single point camp, you can tell directly that see, you won't get the benefit because you are not eligible. You will get the benefit because you are eligible. So for that, we used to organize this camp, and this was used to be conducted regularly. And in fact, for every month, we used to allocate one Wednesday for conducting this camp. And by my estimate, around 700 to 800 people would have benefited. Differently able people would have benefited only in my area through these camps, and they would have got different benefits like 1,500 rupees pension per month. Then they are also eligible to get free wheelchairs, then free tricycles, mechanically driven tricycles, and also the hand driven tricycles. So we used to give these benefits to these people, and this was one thing which I thought that I should tell to you, because I think when you're studying for general studies, you will study for the differently abled act la vandu neenga padipinga, but what is the field level implementation, eppadi vandu it is actually getting implemented on the field, how it is getting translated to the district, that is that you can see after you get into the post, or when people like me come and tell you. So this will help you connect more with the subject that you are reading. So the next one. So this is actually, I just put this photo here to tell you that this was one issue where there was a law and order issue. So in a sub-collector wears many hats. Like I told you, the first two slides were entirely different, and this slide is also going to be entirely different. So sometimes he has to wear the hat of an farmer, sometimes he has to wear the hat of a differently abled officer. Sometimes, like in this slide, he has to wear the hat of a judge or a law and order officer. So basically, the story behind this photo is that there was one village in my area. So in that village, for 16 to 20 years, one village festival never happened. One temple festival never happened. So both the groups, basically it never happened because both the groups, the two groups in that village, and both of them were fighting. And if one person it is a religious issue. So if one group wants to conduct that festival, the other group will also say that I also want to conduct my festival at the same time. So it never happened for 16 years, and they will keep petitioning and say that government should do something and all that. But so this was one such situation, and we called both the groups, and we told them that you finally arrive at a conclusion, and you come to a decision. We are not going to, you can decide among yourselves that who will conduct the festival first. Nothing is going to happen because you conducted the festival 10 days late and they conducted it first. இதில் ஈகோ பார்க்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு அவசியம் இல்லை. பட் இதில் நீங்கள் ஈகோ பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா 20 years ஃபெஸ்டிவல் நடக்காது, இன்னும் நடக்காமல் போயிடும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we just told them. And initially they were not agreeing. But as you slowly understand in the job, nothing will happen immediately. It is always a question of dealing with people. So people are very, as a group mentality, they are difficult to get convinced. And so finally how we got them convinced, and in the course of that time we had to do some threatening, we had to give some benefits to some persons. So it's always in fact if some of you have read I would suggest that you read The Prince by Machiavelli, or some of you must have heard of The Prince, right? The book called The Prince by Machiavelli, or the Arthashastra. So that actually tells you how to get things done, or it's a study in the exercise of power. So in that, in fact, there is a philosophy which says that if you are not, that is Sama Beda Danda philosophy. That is, you first try to convince the person. If that person is not convinced, then you try to give some benefits to that person, to incentivize that person or that group, like we did in this case, to go in one particular direction that you want to. Or finally, if both of them are not working, then what you should do is you should use the stick and ensure that the things are getting done. So finally, in this case, you will find that I think some of you must have heard of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Code of Criminal Procedure is there, Indian Penal Code is there. So these are the powers, the constitutional powers, which are given to a collector or a sub-collector to ensure that control over the police, or to control over the law and order situation. So you would have heard of 144, section 144 is imposed on different areas. So that is a provision in CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure. So similarly, like that, there are many other provisions to help you deal in law and order situations. So I won't go into the detailed law provision use பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா, but we ensured that this temple festival was conducted after 20 years. And so this was some kind of success milestone in my time as the sub-collector of that place. And this was a very sensitive issue. So as I already told you, it is a communal issue. It can go anyways. So you can, in fact, if you stay silent, that is, if you don't involve yourself in this issue, everything will be good for you. Because no issue will come if you involve yourself. Only if you involve yourself in this issue, there will be some issues, problems against you. So, but I involved myself, and being young and new to the field, you don't have any compunctions of thinking whether this would cause an issue to you or not. So this was a sensitive issue, but it was successfully done. And so this temple festival happened after a long time, and still the people are, if you go to that village, I'm sure that they will remember that. And still this happened around 1.5 years back, but even before I left, they used to come and tell me that this was a good thing to happen after a long time. So this was a very satisfying thing. So this second one, this is another issue. So as I'll just repeat that every slide has a different story. So this story is about, so the person who is sitting to my right is the municipal commissioner of Palani, and the person who is sitting to my left is the deputy superintendent of police, DSP of Palani. So generally when you are sub-collector, these are the number 1 and number 2. These are the left-hand man and right-hand man. So only by managing them effectively, you can be an effective sub-collector. So this issue, idhula issue enna appadina, basically there was one street in Palani which was always congested. இப்போ just assume that the road in front of Officers IAS Academy is always congested, so just assume it, that no cars are able to come in this road. and you only have to walk and enter from the start of the road, just the 6th Avenue. So you just assume that you can only walk in this road. Because cars are always parked. So there was one road like that in Palani, and we thought that there must be something done about this. So, but now I called my guys and asked them that what can be done about this, and they told that for 50 years this has been the case, and nothing can be done about it. Okay, but 50 years it has been the case, so there must be a lot of opposition to that. So it was apparent, but we thought that something must be done about it, and I called the DSP as well as the municipal commissioner, and I told them that see, you take some 2 barricades and you put it on either side of the road and you block it. Night on night block pannirunga. So in the midnight the barricades were taken and they were placed on the start of the road and the end of the road. So basically it was made as a pedestrian free zone, vehicle free zone, pedestrian only zone. So only pedestrians can walk in. It was supposed to be an interim measure, so that in the course of time people will get used to the fact that there are no vehicles on the road. They won't come and park it there, and they will get used to parking it somewhere else. And slowly we were in fact thinking of making it into a pedestrian zone. I convinced both of them. Both of them are convinced, and we in the midnight we placed the barricades, and then the road was made pedestrian only. But this was, as I told, it's a very important road. It had a lot of business enterprises, a lot of hotels and all. So, and for 50 years no one had tried this. So initially I didn't expect so much opposition. So what happened was that next day I went to office, and we were all happy that okay, we have done something and we have blocked the road successfully, and nothing will happen. I went to office, did my usual work, and we were happy and all that. Suddenly some 200 people are outside my door. So I was shocked. So I didn't know what to do, and I called firstly I called the municipal commissioner. So he told that sir, நான் இப்போ வந்துட்டு இருக்கேன், உடனே வந்துடுவேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he came inside. But அவருக்கு உள்ள வரக்க இடம் இல்லை. There are some 200 people outside my office. So I called the DSP and I told him that see, 200 people are there outside my office. No one are able to come into my room. I also can go outside my room. So you come and you also come and you give some constables also. You send them before. So the municipal commissioner also coming. He also has to come in. And 200 people are there. Then some 20 press people were there from all TVs, all papers, எல்லாமே வந்துட்டாங்க. ஸோ சரி ஓகே, அவங்க ஏதோ ப்ரெஸ் பீப்புளெலாம் சண்டை போட்டு ஏதோ ரூம்குள்ளே வந்துட்டாங்க. ஸோ ரூம்குள்ளே வந்துட்டு சார் இப்போ என்ன பண்ண போகிறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்டுறேன். சரி ஓகே சார், கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க, நாங்கள் இன்னும் இப்போ ஆஃபீஷியல்ஸ்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க, அண்ட் உங்களுக்கே தெரியும் தேவர் இட்ஸ் அ குட் மெஷர் அப்படின்னு. ஸோ பேசிக்கலி this happened very recently. This happened around 4 months back. So by that time I was nearly 2 years into my subdivision. So I knew all the press people by name. So there was no issue as such. I know all these people by name. I know them personally. They won't do anything against me, and everything is okay. But that is one thing which you have to be careful about. You need to ensure that no negative news comes against you. And if you have any issue with a press person, they will use this opportunity to ensure that your name is finished. But I was very careful about this. But so that issue was blocked. But then still the 200 people were there. So then the municipal commissioner and the DSP, both of them came into my office, and I told them that see that it's all about human dynamics. The DSP was very angry and told that sir, we are the government and we can if we want to block any road, we can block the road, and it has been done for the public purpose. So this should be going on, and we cannot let the selfishness of some 10 important shops affect the entire welfare of the entire town, which was a very strong logic, and the DSP was okay. So the municipal commissioner was agreeing with whatever I told, so it's okay. And so I told the DSP and municipal commissioner, see, I will ask 10 important representatives of the 200 people to come into my office, and I will tell them that to raise the issues. You can counter them. Finally, after all the energy of them is dissipated, then I will enter in and I will give a solution. ஸோ இனிஷியலி அவங்க வந்த உடனே அவங்க எல்லாம் பேசிட்டே வந்து சத்தம் போட்டுட்டு சார் நீங்கள் பண்ணுறது தப்பு அது பண்ணுறது தப்பு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. அப்போ வந்து இஃப் யூ கெட் இன் ஷவுட்டிங் மேட்ச் தென் it is a downgrade to the position of sub-collector. So that should not happen. So when it is the I told them you deal with it. So when the 10 representatives came and so DSP, as I told you, was very angry already. So our kandapadi thitnaru. So and I also let him shout at the person student vidita and seri okay our shout பண்றத பார்த்து அவங்களும் வந்து பயந்துட்டாங்க. சரி, because as sub-collector you cannot you can shout at people if you want to, but generally it is because you are the top person in the area and you should maintain some decorum. So I felt, so that is why I didn't shout at the persons, but I let him shout. So our shout பண்றாங்க. So sometimes if you don't shout, then if he doesn't shout, they will get more assertive. If he's shouting, they are not getting more assertive. So it's all about social situation. நீங்க எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்றீங்க பொறுத்து. So that happened, then அது நடந்தது. So their energy was a little down, and after some time I told the DSP, நீங்க கொஞ்சம் அமைதியா இருங்க, முனிசிபல் கமிஷனர் நீங்க பேசுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லியாரு. ஸோ முனிசிபல் கமிஷனர் வந்து அவர் வந்து கொஞ்சம் கன்வின்சிங் டோன்ல வந்து பேசிட்டு இருந்தார். ஹி வாஸ் நாட் ஆங்கிரி லைக் த டிஎஸ்பி அண்ட் ஹி டோல்ட், சார் இது வந்து ஒரு பப்ளிக் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட், நீங்க வந்து செல்ஃபிஷ்னஸா வந்து நீங்க யோசிக்க கூடாது. இது வந்து பல வருஷங்களா வந்து இந்த ரோடு இவ்வளோ மோசமா இருக்கு. இப்போ வந்து ஒரு ஆஃபீஸர் வந்து இப்படி நாங்கள் வந்து சேர்த்து பண்றோம்னா நீங்க சப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படி இப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஹி கொஞ்சம் வந்து கன்வின்சிங்காகவும் வந்து ஒரு இதுவாகவும் வந்து பேசினதுனால சரி ஓகே சரி இவர் அந்த குட் காப் பேட் காப் ரொட்டீன் மாதிரி வந்து இப்போ வந்து குட் காப் ரொட்டீன் முடிஞ்சிருச்சு. ஸோ ஃபைனலி வந்து இப்போ நான் பேசுகிற அந்த ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி வந்தது. ஸோ ஐ டோல் தம் தட் சரி கொஞ்சம் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க, ஒரு 3 நாள் வந்து இது நடக்கட்டும், அப்புறம் வந்து ஒரு 3 நாள் கழிச்சு வந்து நீங்கள் வந்து மறுபடியும் வந்து என்னை பார்க்கலாம், அப்போ வந்து நான் வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து வேற சொல்யூஷன் சொல்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அதை சொல்லி முடிச்சாச்சு. அண்ட் தேவர் ஹாப்பி வித் தட். And they told that okay சார் வந்து நான் சொன்னதை வந்து நாங்கள் கேட்டுட்டாங்க, 200 பேர் வந்திருக்கோம், வந்து நாங்கள் சொன்ன இஷ்யூஸ் வந்து கண்டுக்கிட்டாங்க, இப்போ வந்து ஏதோ பண்ணி கொடுக்குறேன்னு சொல்றாங்க ஃபியூச்சர்ல. ஸோ வந்து ஏதாவது ஒரு they have some hope that something will be done, but finally we are able to finish out this issue without it being a big law and order issue. So that is the small point, but it was an interesting incident. So this second photo கொஞ்சம் மேலே கொண்டு வாங்க. So this photo is about again there was one government order which was released recently about that fact that initially வந்து all business establishmentsலாம் வந்து night வந்து ஓபனா வச்சிருக்க முடியாது. That is I think you may have read, if you are following the newspapers very closely, you would have read that 24/7 the government order 24/7 the shops are allowed to be open. So all the shop owners and all the businessmen in the city, they came and the town came and met me and told that see government has released this order, but then the local police are coming and harassing us and they are not allowing us to keep the shops open. So I told them that okay avanga வந்து historically வந்து they are not allowed the shops to be open and there are some legitimate security issues why shops should not be open in the night. So it's always a given, it's always a positive irukku negative irukku. So and I told them that okay you come for a meeting, I will call the DSP as well as the commissioner, then we will discuss with you and we will arrive at a solution. So what the point I want to emphasize is that at the state government level they will release a lot of orders and all that, but finally the implementation authority in the district is the collector or the sub-collector only. So only if they want to, he is the representative of the government in the district, so he has to get the things done. Only because ஒரு ஆர்டர் போட்டோம் அல்டி வந்து ஒரு ஆக்டை வந்து எனாக்ட் பண்ணிட்டோம் or வந்து சட்டத்தை we have enacted an act or passed an statute, it does not mean that things will get done. The collector is the person who is supposed to get the things done in the area. So as I told them, I told the shopkeepers and the businessmen that you install CCTV cameras throughout in all the shops and you ensure that the feedback is the video feed is given to the police, and after this is done I will ensure that no police will come and harass you, you can keep your shops open. So this took care of the security issue as well as it took care of the issue that all the shops are allowed to be open, and so this was a solution which was arrived at mutually. And so this is another way in which you have to interact with the civil society, இப்போ நீங்கள் ஜெனரல் ஸ்டடீஸில் நீங்கள் நிறைய படிப்பீங்க, சிவில் சொசைட்டியோட இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணணும், நம்ம வந்து பிஸ்னஸ் மேனோட இன்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணணும், and government should have a good relation with them. So this is the relation which is happening practically. So another part of the life of a sub-collector is the relations with, basically when you are the, all the police in the division will report to you. So you wear the hat of a policeman again. And in fact, sub-collector is called as a subdivisional magistrate. Subdivisional magistrate comes sub-collector. So that is the full form of the post. So magistrate means that the police will report to the magistrate. You have a lot of magisterial powers under the act, and so you generally have to keep a very good relation with the police in your area, and good relation as well as you have to know how to get things done, because police is one of the most trickiest departments to work with, and they are one of the most difficult departments to work with also, because we see all the, as a police department or IPS officer irkarna, he will look after only police department, but an IAS officer will not look after only the police department. He has to look after, as I told you, municipal commissioner. Commissioner is the commissioner municipal administration department, then agriculture department, public works department, then highways department. All the departments of government has to be looked after by the IAS officer. So but in my entire experience, I am telling you that police is one of the more difficult departments to work with. So you have to interact with the police in a lot of situations, like managing criminals, or if for example a big law and order situation is going on in the district, then you have to ensure that the information is coming to you properly, because most of the times being sub-collector, you will be in the office, and the field level information vandu ungalku you will only get from the office, from the field level staff. Most of the times the police will be the persons who will get the information very fast, and if they don't trust you, you won't get the information at all. If you don't keep a good relation with the inspector or the sub inspector or the DSP, then they will cut you off from the information flow. So it depends on how open you are, and also they should not take advantage of you. So these are the different aspects. So in this case, in fact, the person, these are the main important police officials in my area, and we were just discussing about how to manage the, there is a temple festival called Thaipusam, which generally happens in Palani at the time of January, and it has nearly 16 lakh people coming from all over Tamil Nadu. They will, in fact, if you know that, if you have been to Palani temple, or if you have been to that, from that area, you will know that they come walking from different areas. There is a pathway which is constructed on the side of the road, and they will come walking from even far off areas like Salem, Erode la irundhu Palani varaikkum nadandu varuvanga, and from Madurai also they come walking. So it's a big exercise. 16 lakh people, and in one day 10 lakh people will come on the day of Thaipusam. So Palani, if you have been to Palani temple, you know that it's a very small hill, and one rope car is there and one winch is there. So how we will transport 10 lakh people to the top of the hill is a big challenge, and how you manage the crowd flow to ensure that there is no stampede, to ensure that there is no theft cases la nariya nadakum. So ensure that people are feeling safe. It's a big logistical challenge. So we are just discussing about that. So again, another aspect of my this work, and some of my slides will be press articles which I cut and pasted, and so this was one very famous criminal who was there in the area, and his name was Madhan Kumar, and I don't know if you are able to read the text, but so this person, what is his modus operandi, that is his general way of committing a crime is that he will generally kidnap women, and then he will take them to a far off location, and he will but he won't violate them, but he will ensure that they are just kidnapped, and he'll just keep them there, and he won't even ask for ransom. He won't ask for ransom, he won't violate them, but he'll just keep them there. So this was his modus operandi, and he had a lot of cases, 20-25 cases against him, and but people are not, and FIRs have been filed against him, cases are nadandittirukku, he has been arrested many times, but he is still doing the same thing, and he is still doing the same thing because there are many loopholes in our law. But that aside, so this was a very notorious person, and we thought that okay, this person has to be controlled, and something must be done against him. And so we came together, that is me and the police and everyone came together, and we designed a plan by which he should be caught, and we decided that we should tail that person for some time, see wherever he is going, and make a sketch of his daily movements. And in fact, there was one immediate case. Just 1 week back, he had kidnapped another woman. We had rescued that woman, but that woman had given a complaint, and we are not able to arrest that person because he was absconding. But we had put him on watch. So we wanted to ensure that this time, if we arrest him, he won't escape. So this time we want a watertight case. So there was some provision called as 107 in Code of Criminal Procedure, CRPC 107. So this is why I am telling this example is that you need to know law perfectly if you want to be an effective sub-collector. You need to know law better than the lawyer himself or the judge himself if you want to be effective. So there was one provision called that, and there is another provision called as the Gundas Act. So I think you must have read that in the paper. These things keep coming up in the paper that Gundas Act கைது பண்ணிட்டார், கலெக்டர் சிறையில் அடைத்தார், ஒரு வருஷத்துக்கு அடைத்தார். ஸோ அப்படிலாம் வந்து பேப்பரில் வந்துட்டு இருக்கும். ஸோ we thought that இப்போ Gundas is it's a very powerful act, but it can be quashed easily by the court on some procedural issues. So why it is quashed by the court now? It's basically the courts feel that preventive detention is a power which should not be given to the executive, because the judiciary should have that power to jail people and not the collector. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு there's one school of thought, and they think that 1 year is a too long a time for a person to be kept in jail on the order of a collector. So generally 1 or 2 months they just come out. But there was another provision called 107 CRPC which not many people knew, but then I knew about it, and then I thought that okay, we'll by which 107 CRPC I'll just explain it in basic. If for example you are there and I decide that you should be put under 107, okay, you should be put under 107. That means that you will just come to my office. I tell you that you are under 107. You have no other choice but to sign a paper and say that, sir, I agree to be put under 107. I will ensure that I am not involved in any other criminal action during the remaining period of the 107 time. 107 is generally imposed for 1 year. So if you violate that condition, that you will not do any wrong thing in that 1 year, you are automatically put in jail for the remaining period of time. So that is the general summary of the provision. So we caught this guy and took him directly to our office. He was already drunk, but then there was no lawyer with him. So we told him that you have to sign this 107 because the subcollector has decided that you should be put under 107, and நீங்க சைன் பண்ணீங்கன்னா இது ஒண்ணுமே இல்லை, நீங்க வந்து சைன் பண்ணி நான் இது வேற எந்த விதமான குற்ற சம்பவங்களும் ஈடுபட மாட்டேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நீங்க எழுதி கொடுக்குறீங்க. You are giving a bond that you won't do any other wrong thing. And so he thought that okay, I'm just signing a paper, nothing is going to happen to me, and he just signed that paper, and he told that he just wrote and told that I won't do anything wrong. Then after that, after he signed that paper, we filed an FIR against him the next day. On the case, I told that 1 week back he had kidnapped another woman. So we filed an FIR against him on that case, and because he had done a criminal act immediately the day after he had signed and given before me that he won't do any other issue, we put him under jail automatically for 1 year. So now he's still in jail. It has been 5 months. So this was it's not satisfying for me, but not satisfying for him or his relatives. But this was also satisfying for many people in that area, because he used to obviously you can understand that he used to threaten many businessmen, he used to threaten the local people, and so அந்த ஏரியாவில் இருக்கிற மக்கள்லாம் சந்தோஷப்பட்டாங்க. அண்ட் ஆனால் அவர் ஃபேமிலி கஷ்டப்பட்டிருப்பாங்க. அவங்க இன்ஃபேக்ட் அந்த ஃபேமிலியிலேருந்து எனக்கு சார் இவங்க தப்பு பண்ணிட்டாங்க, ஒரு தடவை மன்னிச்சு விட்டுருங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. பட் ஐ டோல் தம், ஒரு தடவை தப்பு பண்ணியிருக்காரு, அவர் 25 தடவை தப்பு பண்ணியிருக்காரு, 25 தடவை எஃப்ஐஆர் போட்டிருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we just told them. But so these are the things, this was another interesting thing which happened. So this was again another hat which I wore, and this was basically Orillia. Okay. I'm not able to display the whole photo, but this was an incident in which there used to be a lot of artificially manufactured sand in our area. It is called as manufactured sand, M sand. So M sand used to be manufactured in many areas, and if you actually have seen a M sand plant, it's quite small. I have seen all the plants in my area, and I know the exact structure. It's very small, but the quality which is manufactured by that, basically you have to get government license for manufacturing that. But in many areas they don't get the government license, and the quality which is manufactured, which you obtain from that using that for construction, won't be as good as the quality which you when you use a river sand or the other sand. This was one incident where we rounded up all the M sand quarries and M sand plants, and we shut them down in a single day. In a single day, we shut down 10 M sand plants in different places. So this was a very detailed operation, because இது வந்து ஒவ்வொரு வில்லேஜ்லயும் வந்து ஒரு M sand plant இருக்கும். One village will be around 20 minutes away from another village, and another village will be around 20 minutes away. So you have to know the different locations and exact location in every village, because once you start doing it, you cannot stop in between. Once you start sealing one plant, before you go to another plant, you should be very sure which village you are going to, and you should be very careful about which route you are taking and whom you are taking with you. You should ensure that it should be over before night time, and so it's a very detailed operation. It requires very proper planning, and so this was very successfully done. In one day we sealed around 10 M sand plants, and this was covered in media. There's a lot of video clippings in YouTube. If you just search in Palani M sand plant, you can find a lot of clippings. In fact, I tried to download the video and show it to you today, but then there was no time, so I was not able to download. And this was another satisfying thing we did, because generally, in fact, many people, they call me up and they appreciated me also, and including many politicians also, they called me up and they appreciated me, and they told that, sir, this is something which no person has touched ever, and no person actually knows the difference between an M sand and a proper river sand, except the persons who are actually involved and know that field before. No one knows this. Like if you get an M sand and a river sand, I will be able to differentiate, but you won't be able to differentiate. So but there's a lot of problem in that. If you use the M sand for construction, your house lifetime would be probably 20 years, but the normal lifetime of a cement construction would be 60 years. But many people are getting fooled. So in my area, I was able to do this, and many people, they appreciated me, and they told that so this is something which is like a black market. It's not known in the wider society. No one talks about it. It's not coming in paper, but we know this issue for long. We have not been able to do anything about it, but we are very happy that you took it up. So, and even after I got transferred, many people, they remembered me by this only. In fact, we have done many other things, as I showed you before, and as I will show you after this also. But this was one thing which remained in the mind of the people, and in fact, after I got transferred, there was generally they give WhatsApp messages and all that. So he is transferred, and just tell that successfully he has sealed so many plants in M-Sand in so and so areas. So one day we wish him best wishes in his future career. I used to get a lot of messages. So this was another very satisfying thing. So this is the second one is so basically this was another very long issue. It was a very complex issue. For 20 years I will just explain the issue in brief. For 20 years there was one market in Palani which was entirely private run. So there is a difference between government run markets and private run markets. So private markets are supposed to pay rent to the government. But in this issue, they were not paying any rent at all. So that means that it's a loss to the government, and the revenue which should be obtained by the government is not obtained at all. But we in 20 years back itself, from government officials had gone to try and seal that plant, seal that market, to ensure that all the people go out, and then government wanted to take possession of it. But it was never happened because people went to court and they used to get a stay order, and they used to say that sir, stay order irukku, you cannot suppose to come in. So this generally happened because an operation of this kind is very complex to achieve. Because suddenly if you go with 10 bulldozers to demolish some 10 buildings, a lot of people will come to the road and they will say that these are my buildings, you cannot do it. It's basically selfishness of the people operating in that area. You have to see the wider public interest in your position. This is an illegal market, you cannot let it run, it's against the law, but still it is being run. It's totally due to some factors. People come to the road, they will threaten you, they will say that I will send complaint petitions against you, we will ensure that you don't do any work, and we won't get any posting, we will send a complaint to our superiors. They will threaten, and so this was not getting done at all. So we thought that something must be done about this, and then we planned an elaborate operation by which the market was there in the center of the town, and there used to be, we mapped the approach routes. Only 2 roads were approaching that area. So we planned in such a way that early morning we'll go there and we will seal all the roads, and before anyone is awake or even gets to know what is happening, we will go in, put barricade the entire area, ensure that no one is able to come in, and then we will demolish everything by 7 o'clock, 7:30, then we will get out before even the press people come in or anyone else comes in. So this was again very very difficult. I just told you very simply that now barricade பண்றோம், road block பண்ணிரோம், அது பண்ணிரோம், but actually it's very difficult to achieve in the field. It requires a lot of coordination, and நிறைய பேர் இருப்பாங்க. You are not the only person who is going to do. There should not be any leak of information. At least you should involve 10 people in it. Even if at least one person goes and tells the public that if it is going to be done in early morning 5 o'clock, your plan is gone, nothing will happen. So the idea we arrived at was that we told that see, this market will be sealed at 7 o'clock nu solitom. Market will be sealed at 7 o'clock அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு we knew that information will get leaked. We leaked that information that it will get sealed at 7 o'clock. We went at 5 o'clock and sealed it and came. Okay, so this was how we achieved it. So இந்த மாதிரிலாம் நிறைய டாக்டிக் பண்ணாதான் வேலைலாம் நடக்கும், அலட்டி ஒன்றும் நடக்காது. And this was again covered in media very well, and so the media was again a very good support. This is a very sensitive issue. நான் இதில் தப்பு பண்ணியிருந்தேன்னா நான் டிவியில் இவர் தப்பு பண்ணிட்டாரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இந்நேரம் நான் சென்னை வந்திருப்பேன், அப்பயே ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. பட் இது ஒரு வருஷம் முன்னாடி நடந்தது. அதுக்கப்புறமும் நான் சேஃப் அண்ட் சவுண்டாக அந்த இடத்துல இருந்தேன், அண்ட் ஐ வாஸ் ஏபிள் டு manage for another 1 more year, and I came here. So it ended successfully for me, but again, as I am telling you, it was a very sensitive issue, and it was dealt in the right manner. So anala I am safe. So this is the second one. Penna. Okay, correct. So fine. So this is the next issue in which this old lady was not able to get. Generally, Tamil Nadu government gives old age pension for people, old people, with no support, so they can get the pension of around 1,000 rupees per month, and for their entire lifetime. So if their children are not supporting them, they can get this pension. And I have given a lot of such cases, but this particular case was such that she was very affected, and she had no support. She was roaming around for a long time, she didn't know what to do. So we called her up, and we took a suo moto interest in giving her this pension. So that's why I put this here. Otherwise so many other cases have been given by Tamil Nadu government. So this is another hat which you wear as a sub-collector, and this is about food safety. And in fact, the background it's not that clear, but it's written food safety meeting, and the people to my either side are food safety officers. And so the issue is that in this particular issue, like you can get involved in all aspects of food safety. In different hotels, for example, all the hotels come under your control. You can decide in any hotel if food are not be manufactured in a hygienic manner, you can definitely get in and say that inspection, you should maintain all these standards and all that. So we did that also. And in fact, during the plastic ban, I myself have entered into many hotels, many shops, and then we have done a lot of efforts to curb the use of plastic in different areas. And so this particular issue was that this was during the mango season. So the mango season, of course, mango, as you know, it's artificially ripened many times. And how you'll differentiate an artificially ripened mango from a natural mango is by looking at the mango. If, for example, if the entire mango has no patches at all, it's fully yellow color with no patches at all, no green patches in the between or any other color patch in between, it means that it is artificially ripened. And generally artificially ripened mangoes are more harder than a naturally ripened mango. So this is ripened using some chemicals, and this is not good for the health at all. So we thought that something must be done about this, and I put my food safety officers on the job and told them that you go to all the areas, there are many roadside shops which sell such mangoes, and there are many important shops also. So you go there and then you just grab all these mangoes which are artificially ripened, and of course you should check very properly that they are artificially ripened. You just seize them and you just come to the office. அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன இஷ்யூ பார்த்துக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு I just told them, and they went and they raided a lot of areas. And in my time at least, many such incidents, many such places we raided, and we were able to control the artificial ripening of mangoes to a large extent. And so this is another field you can get into. So the limit is endless. As sub-collector, you can get involved in so many issues, and everything is under your control, and you can do anything you want. Anything you want, you can do a lot of good things. And so I don't think any other job in entire India or the entire world gives you this kind of variety and gives you this kind of a power and to do good at a very junior portion in your career. So this is just another aspect of the work. So this was another very memorable thing which I had done, and this was about in fact this is also covered by the press very well. And this is actually group of transgenders. So some 25 to 30 transgenders had come to me and told that they were not able to get any land and any house to stay in their area. And I thought that okay, so because they were generally transgenders are very affected part of society. They are not able to get, they are not accepted by broader society, and they are also not able to, it's very difficult for them to get a job or get a house. And so sub-collectors, all the government land is under your control as a sub-collector. And so you can, if you feel that any person is in a very bad shape and he should be given land, free land, you can give it. So there was one land which I thought that it will be a good location for giving to transgenders, and it was done in 1 week itself. So they had given the petition 1 week back, and I told my Tahsildar to go and survey the land and cut it up into equal pieces and ensure that every piece of land is given to one of these transgenders. And so they were all very happy after that. In fact, they are showing the patta of the land. In the photo, they are showing the patta of the land. And in fact, this is one very satisfying thing which happened during my tenure. And even after I was transferred, some of them, they just met me and told that we will remember forever in our life. And so that is something which I don't think many people can get in their life. So this is another thing. So this is about school bus inspection, and so basically collectors have to inspect the school buses before the start of the academic year, and they have to ensure that so all the schools also come under your they won't come under your administrative control, but you can interfere in involve yourself in their administration. If, for example, some aspect you don't find well, like in many buses, they are supposed to have proper emergency exit, and they are supposed to have fire extinguishers, they are supposed to have first aid kits, they are supposed to have repeatedly check their vehicle, and in schools also they are school administration, they are supposed to have properly licensed drivers, so that the school children are safe. And so I had arranged in a single playground. I told that all the schools in my area have to bring your vehicles there, and you keep it there, and I will do a random check of all the vehicles. The RTO, regional transport officer, will check all the vehicles independently. And so once you say that you are going to check all the vehicles itself, everything will be fine. You don't actually have to go and check the vehicle. Before the vehicle comes here itself, everything will be fine only. But so anyway, a photo was taken. So I just put this photo to explain that this also you can do. Schools are also a subject which you can look into as a sub-collector. Okay, so this is again, so actually that lady is a differently abled person, and she, as I told you initially itself, we used to organize regular differently abled camps, and so this person actually wanted a government job. So I told her that இப்போ கவர்மெண்ட் ஜாப்ல வந்து நம்ம அந்த அளவுக்கு ஈஸியாக கலெக்டர் வச்சாலும் கொடுக்க முடியாது. Collectors cannot give the government job just like that. But see, if you want, I can ensure that you are given proper training, and you're given coaching for attempting government exams. Then I also explained that see, differently able people get quota in clearing exams. So you can utilize all that, and you can ensure that you can easily come in and get the job by yourself. Or you can, as I told you, I will join you for coaching and private talent, private skill development programs. Many such programs are there. So you can get training as a typist, or you can get training as a computer operator. So finally, we enrolled her for one such course using a private agency. And she still there in that program, and she will it has assured placement, so they will get such jobs. So we have benefited many such people through such measures. Next. So this is another hat you wear, which is as a de facto farmer only. So this was actually during the cyclone Gaja cyclone had come last year, if you remember. Some of you may remember. So in many areas the maize crop had fallen, and the sub-collectors are supposed to go and assess the damage. Wherever the crops have fallen, you can go and check, and you are supposed to certify before the farmer gets the benefit. Based on your certification only, they will give the compensation. So you may read in the papers that government is giving so much amount of money to the farmers because of the cyclone or disaster relief. So using this is what happens in the field. This is the broader picture. When government announces, that will come as headlines. But after the headlines come, a lot of such work actually happens. So we have to go to the field. We have to know the differences. For example, during this time, I remember that there was the pest attack called as American worm or something, American worm. So in that pest attack also was there. So we had to differentiate between whether the crop damage was due to the American pest worm attack or because of the cyclone Gaja attack. So because generally what is the issue about maize crop is that maize crop sometimes when the sun is shining properly, it will come up on its own. I also didn't know it before. I knew it only after working. But so it may come up on its own. So many farmers, what they used to do was they used to cheat. They used to just இப்போ நம்ம வரோம்னு சொல்லி தெரிஞ்சதுன்னா வந்து அவர் வந்து எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து படுக்க வச்சிருவாரு இந்த மெய்ஸ்லாம். அப்போ எல்லாத்தையும் படுக்க வச்சுட்டு அவர் வந்து சரி அவங்க அது நம்ம வெஹிக்கிள் சப்ளைட்டர் வருவார், அவரை வந்து ஏமாத்திடலாம், நம்ம வந்து படுக்க வச்சுட்டு தென் வி வில் இஃப் யூ ஆர் நாட் கேர்ஃபுல் வி வில் சர்டிஃபைட் ஆஸ் டேமேஜ். அப்புறம் நம்ம போனதுக்கப்புறம் எல்லாத்தையும் எழுப்பி விட்டுருவார். ஸோ திஸ் யூஸ் டு ஹேப்பன். அண்ட் ஸோ வந்து இப்போ ஆக்சுவலி ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் எக்ஸாமினிங் வெதர் தி ஸ்டாக் இஸ் பென்ட். If it is actually broken, it cannot come back again. இப்போ இதில் வந்து இப்போ நடுவில் வந்து உடஞ்சிருந்ததுன்னா it cannot come back again. If it is not broken, then it can come back again. So this is how you differentiate. So this also you have to know. So there are many things you have to know. Next. So this is about elections, and in fact this is the strong room where the electronic voting machines are stored. And ஸோ ஜெனரலி வந்து இப்போ எலெக்ஷன்ஸில் நம்ம பப்ளிக்காக இருக்கும் போது நம்ம வந்து போயிட்டு ஓட்டு போட்டு வந்துடுவோம், அவ்வளோதான். நம்மளுக்கு வந்து வேறு ஒன்றும் பின்னாடி என்ன ஒர்க் நடக்குதுன்னு தெரியாது. பட் ஆக்சுவலி அ லாட் ஆஃப் ஒர்க் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் பிஃபோர் தி எலெக்ஷன்ஸ், அண்ட் ஐ திங்க் ஐ ஸ்ட்ராங்லி ஃபீல் தட் one of the biggest success of the Indian democracy is the successful conduct of elections, which happens only because of the bureaucracy. Only because of bureaucracy, we may feel many ways, some wrong things are happening in the bureaucracy, government system also. But elections பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் it is 100% free and 100% neutral only because of the bureaucracy, and it's a very strenuous work. Elections are one of the most difficult work which you can do as a government servant, and so there are a lot of things you have to do from the start of preparation of electoral roll to the preparing the electoral election boxes. In fact, when you go for voting, நம்ம பட்டன் எங்க இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி பார்த்து நம்ம அமுத்திடுவோம். பட் அந்த மெஷினை ப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ணுறதுல இருந்து யாருக்கு ஓட்டு போடலாங்கிறதுல இருந்து அந்த மெஷினை வந்து there are different connections. The main box will be there. There will be a side box. It's called as balloting unit is there, control unit is there, and then there is the connection unit to the polling officer who will sit outside the booth. So all these things have to be connected. It won't come connected already. So it has to be programmed entirely. And this is one work. Then you have to do the awareness for the elections, and you have to ensure that there will be thousands of boxes like this here. So the correct box should go to the correct election station, and it is all randomized. Paperla some people write it is we don't know whether it's right or not. I have personally involved myself in election. I can certify 100% that nothing wrong can happen in this process only because of the process, not because people irkanga appdin solli sollala. The process is so neutral. It is even I as a sub-collector didn't know which box will go to which polling station. So if I don't know, no one else can know. Chance illa. So it's 100% neutral, and every box we used to pack properly, and it generally used to be a whole night effort. Before the elections we used to spend the whole night ensuring that everything is proper. Then after the elections are over, after the voting is over, all the boxes have to come back to a central location. We have to again arrange it. Then generally counting will be 1 or 2 days after the voting. Till that time, 24/7, the collector has to ensure that the rooms will be put under lock and seal. No one can enter the room. So in a daily, every day, 2 times, the collector has to go to the room and check that the locks are properly sealed and sign in the register and come. Even the collector cannot enter the room, this room. After it's locked, he cannot enter into the room. So this is just before you locked it. And so elections is again a very interesting part of the life of sub-collector. Next. So this is again election awareness. So for election awareness, you keep doing a lot of things. You organize rallies, then you have to organize some competitions, some mob dances, flash dance. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம். You have to use your innovative strategies to ensure that you get the attention of people so that they will come and vote. But even after you do all that, there will be some 75% voting or 80% voting only. So you have to, which is okay, which will be disappointing to some people. But this generally happens before every election. It's like a election party. So this for 2 months, 3 months, life will be entirely about elections. Next. So in fact, this is the Palani temple rope car. And I came up with an idea to ensure that poster should be pasted on the rope car itself. About 18th April, vote போடணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு we designed that poster. It is designed by the election commission, but we convinced the temple to put it on the rope car itself. And for nearly 1 month, everyone who went to the temple used to see this poster, and it was a good advertisement strategy for election. So this poster was our idea, and I also put the one sticker on the Palani Panjamridam. Whenever you buy a Panjamridam from the Palani, for that 1 month, there was a sticker on that bottle which said that you should vote on April 18th. So if you had come in that 1 month, you would have bought that bottle. So this was another idea which we did. Next. In fact, so this is another issue. Some of you may have seen this meme in social media. So this was me only. That time you may not have known who it was, but this was widely shared in social media, and this was another thing which I had done, in which I think you may know the issue. You may have read in Facebook and all, or WhatsApp. So that old person, his children had abandoned him, and he was not able to. He did not have any support. So, but he had transferred his property to the children's name, and so he had given a complaint to me, and I called him, and I called his children also. I told them that either you take care of him or I will do something. So he told that he didn't take it seriously. So I cancelled the property transfer to the son. So the property, I transferred the property again back to the father's name. So then after that, the children automatically they took care of the parents. So this became very famous actually, and it happened around I think 1.5 years back. 1.5 to 1 years back, this became very famous, and after this also there were many other. I had passed orders for many cases. Next. So this was another land issue which I had carried out, in which there was a big Jameen land in our area, which was nearly 4,500 acres. And so again, this was another issue. It was pending for around 50 to 60 years, and so what we had to do a lot of managing the court cases and managing some other issues. Like generally in government law, we think that things are very slow, but actually, if you look at it, if you go inside it, you will understand that things are slow for a reason. Our system is like that. One individual person cannot actually change the entire system, but he can do some small changes. If all the persons come together and make the changes, then the system will change. So that's how our system is defined. But my point is that as sub-collector, if for example I am able to recover 4,500 acres of land, if someone else in some other district was able to recover 5,000 acres of land, if this had happened in all the districts, then this would be a big thing for our state. So it all depends on the person. It all depends on who you are, and whether you have the intention of doing it, whether you want to do it, and secondly, whether you forgetting about. Definitely, you will face some issues. Like if I want to retrieve 4,500 acres of land, it's not a simple issue. I would have faced many problems. I would have faced many roadblocks. You would face many issues to get over it. But you should not feel afraid. Just because one roadblock comes, you should not think that okay, in the issue panna mudiyadhu. So we have to cross it. So if everyone thinks like that, then it's better. So this was another very memorable thing which had happened, and actually this 4,500 acres of land will be assigned and given to landless agricultural labourers. So in fact, there is an act called as Tamil Nadu Land Reforms Act, which was passed in 1960s itself, and till 1970s also it was an amendment was there, and by which one person can hold up to only 15 acres of land, 15 standard acres. Standard acres is around some definition of 1 standard acre is equal to some 4 normal acres or something. That is technical. But based on this provision, there was one old Jamindar in our area, and in 1960 itself his land was taken away. Nearly 4,500 acres of land was taken away, but he had filed a court case, and he had used many tools by which this land was actually not being able to put to use. We solved all those issues, and then we are able to retrieve back this land. So this was done. Next. So this was again the same issue only. We actually started a process by which we will assign 3 acres of land to every landless agricultural labourer. We had called for the applications, and we are processing some applications, but since it was a big extent of land, we are not able to finish it. It's still going on, but at least the process was started. So other way on, it happened after a lot of issues. So again, land is a very important area where you can focus on as a sub-collector. Next. So this was actually the last issue that I had involved myself in before I got transferred to Chennai. and this was the fact that Palani is actually known as a land of Siddhars. Palani has been the home of Siddha medicine In fact, the Palani temple deity is fashioned by a Siddha doctor, and is called as Bogar. In fact, his temple is also nearby only, on the hill only. So, but Palani never had it used to have a Siddha college in 1980, but it was shifted to Chennai. In 1980 itself it was shifted to Chennai due to various reasons. But it was always, if you had gone to Palani in 1940 or 1930 or 1950, you would only see Siddha doctors living there. In every house there used to be a Siddha medical doctor. They used to manufacture their own medicines. I have also been to many Siddha Vaidyasalas, one or two Siddha Vaidyasalas in Palani, and it used to be the case that 20-25 Siddha Vaidyasalas used to be there in Palani. But right now the entire industry is gone, and there are hardly like 1 or 2 Siddha Vaidyasalas. So the demand was that there should be a proper Siddha Vaidyasalai, not a Siddha Vaidyasalai, proper Siddha college, medical college and a medical hospital attached to the college, so that there is some interest given to Siddha medicine again, and the doctors there can survive. But this was a demand which was going on for from 1980 it was shifted, and 1980, 1990, 2000, 2005, 10, 30, 35 to 40 years. 40 years kadichu there was no such improvement which happened in this area. But finally I decided that see, all the paperwork can happen. We can ask government to set up a college and all that can happen. But finally, the people themselves should involve themselves and ensure that something is done. அதாவது நம்ம எல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டே இருக்கலாம், நம்ம கவர்மெண்ட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு. But if we don't do anything ourselves, then nothing will happen. So I called up some 10 to 20 doctors in Palani, and some well-to-do people also in Palani, and I told them that see, this is something which has not happened in this town. This is, first of all, it's your town, it's not my town. I will be posted here, I will go out to some other place, and that is there. So you only have to take ownership of the project. You cannot just keep saying that this should happen for some time, for so many years. You cannot just keep saying that it should happen. It should definitely happen now. So what you should do is, everyone should contribute some amount. You contribute that, and I gave responsibility to buy the beds to one person. You buy that bed, and medicines I gave the responsibility to buy the medicines to some other person. They were all willing people, they were all ready, but however it did not happen. So I told them that okay, you buy all this, and I will give you the building. There is one old government building which is not of any use, but cleaning, maintenance, everything you have to do. I cannot give you any money. It should be entirely people driven only. நீங்க தான் செலவு பண்ணணும், நீங்க தான் மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும். நான் ஒரு காசும் கொடுக்க மாட்டேன், பட் நான் உங்களுக்கு அட்வைஸ் கொடுப்பேன், அண்ட் எப்படி உங்களுக்கு கைடன்ஸ் கொடுப்பேன், அது மட்டும் லீடர்ஷிப் கொடுப்பேன் உங்களுக்கு. பட் ஃபைனலி the leadership was only what was important. Money, they always had money. These people were there for 30 years, 40 years, but why should they wait for me to come in before they start this hospital? So I told them that I won't give you any money, but you only have to do everything, but you have to listen to what I say. So then they gave it, and some 10 beds were bought. And patients also, I told them that I told one doctor, நீங்க ஒரு 10 பேஷண்ட் எடுத்துட்டு வந்து இங்க போடுங்க, அண்ட் நீங்க இங்க இருந்து நீங்க பாருங்க கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு, அப்புறம் நீங்க வேணா ஷிஃப்ட் பண்ணிட்டு எடுத்து போனா அதுக்குள்ள செட்டப் ஆயிடும். You can bring more patients here, and it will set up, it will run on its own. So this was successfully done, and it was an old building now, not a big hospital. It was not a very well established hospital, but as I told them, the same, that every big thing has a small beginning. So this may be an old building, but you started here, and definitely at some point of time the hospital will be established in Palani, and in fact this is right now pending in our Chennai state government only. We had sent the proposal, I had moved the proposal, I talked to some people here, and it may get established or may not get established, but finally the hospital is running in Palani using entirely people effort, but advised by the SubCollector. So this was the final thing that I had done, but it was one of the most satisfying, and so in fact this was the picture which was taken this happened just before my transfer, In fact, after this, I was transferred a few days after this, and I came to Chennai. I was not able to follow up on this issue, but since it was the last good thing that I had done there, I thought that it should be my last slide, and I will finish my presentation also in that way. Thank you. Any doubts you can ask, doubts or any other questions? No, there can be no doubts. It's only experience sharing, but you can, if you want to know about something, you can ask, but no tricky questions.
So, your most adventurous experience that you have underwent in your course?
I just detailed so many adventurous things.
Which is the first priority according to your most adventurous?
So you are giving me a choice to pick out of 25 slides, which slide you want to pick. You are telling me. See, adventurous thing, there are many adventurous things. In fact, at one point of time, we had there was one big law and order issue in my area in which nearly some 500 people were there outside my office, and they were all actually what happened was that we had put one person under jail, and he was a very influential person but a very notorious person. It's a very bad person only, and we had to jail him, and his supporters were there in the road, and they were telling that we will move away only after this person is transferred. So this also had happened to me, and but we ensured that those people were all removed immediately, and it was a very sensitive issue, and this started in the morning. That is, they blocked the road and they were all sitting in the road the entire day, and they used to cook on the road, they used to sleep on the road. Like, everything happened. So in fact the photos, I have not put the photos here because it is actually a very sensitive issue, but so that had also happened. If you know someone from Palani, you can ask, and so but then we removed them, and by evening I was able to deal with that. So that was a very tough situation for us to handle. LBS பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அந்த ஒரு வீடியோவே இருக்கு யூடியூப்ல, டீடைல்டா வீடியோ இருக்கு, ஒரு 45 மினிட்ஸ் கிட்ட நான் வந்து பேசிட்டேன். ஸோ அதோட எக்ஸ்ட்ரா வந்து இங்க பாரத் தர்ஷன் நான் சொல்லியிருக்கேன் அந்த வீடியோவில். ஓகே, இல்லை பாரத் தர்ஷன் வந்து இட்ஸ் a குட் டூர். உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். We go to different places and then we experience different states. I had also gone to Jammu Kashmir, I had gone to Chhattisgarh, Orissa, then Karnataka, அப்புறம் வந்து then I went to Andaman Nicobar, so West Bengal, Calcutta நான் போனேன். So it's a very interesting tour, and but one point Chhattisgarh, in fact I went to the Naxal area in Chhattisgarh also, and Dantewada ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு districtல I had gone there, and it was a very interesting we were in the middle of a Maoist Naxal area. So but it's a lot of different experiences. At one point of time you think that you shift from one place to another in 2 to 3 days. ஒரு 2 நாள் தான் அந்த ஏரியாவில் இருப்போம். நம்ம உடனே வந்து பேக் பண்ணிட்டு ஃப்ளைட் அடுத்த இடத்துக்கு போகணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு they will give ஒரு டிக்கெட் கொடுத்துருவாங்க. ஸோ வந்து ஆஃப்டர் 1 month you are very tired. மாற்றிட்டே இருக்கிற மாதிரி, நம்ம சூட் கேஸ்லேயே வந்து லீவ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ பட் இப்போ யோசிக்கும் போது வந்து இட் வாஸ் a very good experience. And we met collectors of all the districts. எந்தெந்த டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் போனோமோ we'll meet the collectors, and we'll know about the administration in different areas. சத்தீஸ்கர்ல இருக்கிற அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் வந்து இப்போ தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்கிற அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷனுக்கும் சேமாக இருக்காது, ஆர் வெஸ்ட் பெங்காலில் இருக்கிறதுக்கும் அந்தமானில் இருக்கிறதுக்கும் சேமாக இருக்காது. ஸோ it will give a lot of experiences. It will transform you as a person. It's always travel only which will broaden your mind. So it was a very good experience. For more details, you see my YouTube video, conversation with Israel sir. Yes.
Sir, I've heard a lot of opinions nowadays that being an IAS officer, it's difficult to do honest work, sincere work, because of a lot of politicians and political pressure. So since you recently cleared the exam, what is the difference between your expectation of your work while you are preparing and now?
Initially I told no tricky question. But I got a tricky question. But anyway, okay, see, there is no such thing as facing a very difficult situation or the pressure or something. It all depends on how you are as a person, how you are able to manage and deal with situations. See, in all these situations I mentioned, nothing is simple. In all these slides, there was no incident I mentioned which was very simple or which is totally black and white. It was all about how I dealt with, how you deal with it, not how you as a person deal with it. So, if for example in any of these situations you are dealt with in a different manner, then you would have been in a very tough situation. Forget about any other pressure or any other issue. So, there are always solutions to problems. It all depends on how you deal with it. Okay. Sorry to ask this, something is going to come up in the Actually,
for example, the thermocol but in order to we should do that. After another situation, how you
அது நான் முதல்ல அந்த இடத்துல இல்ல. I don't know. I can't comment on it. Okay. இல்ல அப்படின்னா இல்ல ஏன் இப்போ சாரி டு ஆஸ்க் சொன்னான்னு சொல்லி புரிஞ்சிருச்சு. சரி, ஓகே. இல்ல no. Okay, any further doubts you can come and ask me in person also. Okay, thank you.